Hello there, I'm Dr. Sturby. I'm a chiropractic physician in Pinellas Park, Florida. Wanted to cover a couple things today of questions that I commonly get and see if I can answer some questions for you in this video. One of the first is, what can I do on my own that is going to be helpful? And usually things like stretches can be very helpful, and I'm going to show you a couple now. My lovely assistant here, what we're going to do is have you turn and look to the left as far as you can. Now take your hand and give a little push. You can always get it to go a little farther. Now with your hand still up there, putting a bit of pressure on your face, turn your neck all the way the other way. What you're doing now is you're strengthening the muscles because they're having to work to get to the other side. And now you're just going to reverse it. You give that push, you can always get a little extra movement, and then do the same thing going back to the other side. So you're both stretching and strengthening the neck muscles. Very good. Now, for lower neck and trapezius muscles here. These are often going to be involved if you've got any kind of a neck issue. There is a really good stretch for that, but it requires two people. So the person who's getting the stretch is going to be sitting. And what I'm going to do is have you lift your shoulders up. I'm going to come in and put pressure down. What we're doing now is we're fatiguing those muscles. We're making them work. Relax, pull them way down. Now when I come in and stretch them, they're much more agreeable to stretch because they're getting fatigued. And you would do that each way several times. I'm doing this a little quicker than you'd actually do it on someone. You want to do it for about a count of 10. So you'd push down for a count of 10 when they're holding their shoulders up. You'd push down for a count of 10 when they're pulling their shoulders down. It's going to stretch all of those trapezius muscles out very well, and that can be real helpful. Say hello to the nice people, Kathy.
Hello.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And for the low back stretches, some of the best you would be able to do, people think if they stand up, bend over, touch their toes, that's stretching out their back. Well, they are elongating the muscles in the back, but those are also the muscles that are working to let you go down or to pull you back up. And it's never a good idea to try to stretch a muscle that's working. You want to stretch a muscle when it's at rest. So you would be on your back with your knees bent, and then one at a time you get your knees and you pull them up to your chest as far as you can and pull down for about a count of 4 or so, and do that each leg several times. That's going to stretch those muscles in your low back while they're at rest. After you've done each leg a couple of times, then do both of them at the same time. Same thing, pull them up, pull it as close as you can to your chest, hold it for a few seconds. That's a good stretch for the low back. Other questions I often get from people are, what's the best position to sleep in? Your back or your sides. You don't want to spend a lot of time laying face down. That's not good for your low back or your neck. Also, people will often put a number of pillows underneath their head so that their head is flexed way forward. You want to kind of have your head and neck somewhat in neutral. One pillow is plenty. When you get up after you've been lying down, you don't want to just do a sit-up. You want to turn over on your side, drop your legs over, push yourself up. That's the best way of getting up and down out of bed or off the sofa, wherever you may be hanging out. Other things that can be very helpful, we all spend a lot of time on computers, on our cell phone, on an iPad. That involves bringing your head way forward, looking down for prolonged periods of time. If it's an iPad or a cell phone, hold it up in front of you so that you don't have to bring your head way forward all the time. That can make a big difference, because if you sort of track the amount of time you spend like this, it can end up being a couple hours a day. So you got to be careful about that stuff. People often also ask me about what is the best way to lift. And I think everybody has heard lift with your legs, not with your back. But ideally what you want to do if you need to pick up something that's down on the floor is you bend your knees as much as you can. Keep your back as straight as you can when you're doing that. Get the weight. Hold it close to your body. The farther away from you it is, the more strain there is on your back. So you want to have the weight close to you and let your legs do most of the work. The things that are most likely to cause a low back problem usually involve either bending or twisting or lifting, and oftentimes all three. So if you've got to lift something that's over here, don't twist and turn and grab it. Turn around, face it, bend your knees a bit, do it that way. These are all things that can be helpful. It's not necessarily a guarantee you'll never have a problem, but it's things you can do on your own that will minimize the chances of stuff giving you trouble. Another thing that I find people are often concerned about is adjustments to their neck. There has been some talk about this potentially causing strokes. And that has been pretty much debunked, but people are still concerned about it. Every year, millions of adjustments are done to people's necks with no problem at all. I've been in practice 30 plus years, have done tens of thousands of adjustments to people's necks, never had a problem. Probably the most telling thing is my malpractice insurance premiums are much less than a medical doctor's, and insurance companies base their premiums on risk. If there was a risk of me injuring someone, my premiums would be much higher. All right, well, there you go, folks. I appreciate your time. I would like you all to have a good day. Thank you.